Okay, so if you have filmed all of your focus clips and imported them into iMovie, you should have at least 18 clips if you did it correctly. If you didn't, if you messed one up or you forgot a couple clips or lost them or whatever, don't go back and film them right now. Go through the steps, edit your video, turn it in, and then if you want a better grade, then you can go refilm them when you have some spare time. Okay, so the first thing, after you've imported them, you'll see them in this area. It may be down here depending on how you have your iMovie arranged. But you'll see all your clips, your raw clips we call them, which is just everything you recorded right in here. Okay, if you hover over a clip, you can see how long it is. This one's 10.4 seconds, you can see in the top left corner. This one's 10.5, which is right about where they were supposed to be. Okay. Now, you can, as you scroll through them, you'll notice on the right side that you see them. Oh, let me show you one other thing, sorry. You may not be seeing everything I'm seeing because you have to create a new movie. I had already created the movie, so let me show you how to do that. You go File, New Movie, or Command N is the shortcut. And then let's choose no theme for right now. Just click Create. Name your movie. This is Project 2, also known as Focus Project. Okay, and click OK. So there's two, I don't know what to call them, there's two things in iMovie. There's events. All of these items that you see over here, all these items you see over here underneath iMovie Library, these are events. Events are when you import clips into iMovie, that's an event. Like I imported some matches from the wrestling state tournament right here. That's an event right there. Then I imported the focus videos that we just filmed right here. That's an event called Focus. And I've got some other things, okay? You probably only have one or two events right now. All right? To stay organized, I recommend that if your event isn't called Focus Project, if it's like a random date, then you click on it and change the name to be Focus or Project 2, something to that effect, just so you stay organized, and then in the future when you have 7 projects in here, you know which is which. Okay, now, if you've created a movie, a new movie, that will show up inside your event right here. Again, to make a new movie, you go File, New Movie. Now, it's possible to have multiple movies within an event. A movie is your edited version of the event. It's the stuff you decided was worth keeping. It's the stuff you made into a movie. You made into a video. Okay? So right now we really only need one movie, but if you don't have one yet, you need to go File, New Movie, or Command N, and that will create a movie. And again, name it relevant, either Project 2, or Focus Project, or Focus, something to that effect. Okay? If it's not already open, you need to double click it, and then it will open up down here. You'll notice this is my movie, Project 2 Focus Project. Right here in the middle it tells me 0 seconds in gray right there. That means that it's 0 seconds long because I haven't put any videos down here. So right now I've put nothing into my video. So everything you see up here is raw footage, we call it. Raw video footage. This is what we filmed. Anything we see down here is stuff that's going to be in the video. So if we put it down here, it will show up in our final video unless we delete it. Do you have any questions up to this point? The few of you that are doing this right now. Okay. All right, so let's start with our first clip. It really doesn't matter what order we go in, just as long as we get every item. Okay. So we'll start with our first clip. In this case, it was the classroom. So we'll edit the 3 classroom clips first. So we want to take 6 seconds of each clip. And not that it matters, not that every time you edit you're going to take exactly 6 seconds, but when you edit, sometimes you have to follow directions of who you're working for. and sometimes you have to just make things fit in a certain time frame. So the time that I chose for these clips is 6 seconds. So to get full points, you need 6 seconds of the clip. That's why you were supposed to record at least 10 seconds so you'd have room to edit. Okay? Again, if you didn't, if yours is only 5 seconds long, then turn in 5 seconds and you'll just get a little bit of a grade deduction. And again, if you want to make it better, you can. I let you redo every project, by the way, from as long as you do it before the end of the term. If you want to redo an assignment so you have a higher score, you can do that. Okay, so first clip, you double click it to select it, and you'll notice it's selected because there's a yellow box around it. If you hover on either side of it, the left side or the right side, you'll see that your cursor turns from a hand to a left and right arrow. So hover there and notice how it turns into the left and right arrow. What that arrow means is I can adjust the end of the clip. This is called an out point. Where you decide to have the clip end, for example, this clip goes clear to here, but I just made the end of it right here where the yellow vertical line is. So that vertical yellow line right there, that's the end point of my clip, meaning that's where my clip now ends. Okay? And then I want to, basically, to get the best 6 seconds, chances are if you bumped the camera, it was at the start of the clip and it was at the end of the clip. So if you'll erase parts of the front and parts of the end so that you have exactly 6 seconds, then you'll have a perfect 6-second clip. So now I go to the front and I drag the front of it, and notice these numbers changing. Right now it says 7.5s. That means my duration, or the length of my clip, duration means length of the clip. My duration is 7 seconds right now as I drag the end point. The start of a clip is called an end point. As I drag the end point in further, it's now 6 seconds. Okay? And you can also hover over it. I lied, you can't hover over it to see that. But once you drag it down here, you'll be able to see how long it is. Okay, now I click, I hover so I see the hand. I've made my clip 6 seconds long. I've selected just what's inside this yellow. Now I need to just put it in my movie down here. So click on it and drag it into your movie and let go. You've now made your first edit and you have 6 seconds. Marco, 1 second. What's your question?
Do you have to cut it here?
Hold on 1 second, Marco. Hey, Braden, what's up?
I got blood. I don't want to touch it.
Okay. Do you need to go take care of it? Or are you okay?
Oh, fine, I guess.
I don't know what to tell you other than take it home and wash it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
You're not going to get any cleaner without taking it home? You stopped the bleeding though?
Yeah.
What'd you do, get punched in the face?
What?
What'd you do, get punched in the face?
No.
Okay. Marco, what was your question?
Do we have to cut it out just like yours?
You don't have to do it exactly like mine, but you do need to make it exactly 6 seconds long.
Do we start from the beginning or cut that?
You can start at the beginning if you prefer. What you don't want to do though is, let's say the first couple seconds you were like still kind of fiddling with the camera, so it might be kind of bumpy. So don't leave in the bumpiness at the start of the clip. Does that make sense? But if the start of your clip is perfectly smooth and it looks correct, it looks good, then yeah, you can start it at the front and then just edit the end. Make sense? Now, you don't need to do this, but watch what I'm going to show you real quick. Let's suppose that you had a clip that was really good for like the first 4 seconds, and then the camera got knocked for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then you had a really good 2 seconds at the end. We can edit that into one, we can edit out the bumps. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So let's say the start of my clip's really good, and as I watch it, by the way, over here on the right, this is your preview. You can scroll through it as fast as you want, left and right. See, every time when I scroll to the right, it moves forward. When I scroll to the back, it moves. When I scroll to the left, it moves backwards. Or I can put, this is called the playhead. This orange line you see moving left and right on the clip, that's the playhead. So wherever that's at, if I push play, it's going to play from that point. So I can put that wherever I want, and I can push play. Play is the space bar on your keyboard. push play, and it will play the clip from wherever you've got the playhead at. Play around with that. Go ahead and push play and watch it play a clip, okay? And if you don't stop it, it goes into the next clip, so on. So, anyway, so let's say I start at the front of my clip, and it's really good up until right around here, let's pretend. So I would make my end point. It's called, I told you it was called, did I call it an end point? It's called an out point. Out, like this is where you go out. Okay? Anyways, it's called an out point, the end of the clip. So I bring it there, and that's 3.4 seconds long, right? So that's good, 3.4 seconds, and then right in here, let's pretend that that gets all shaky or some mistake happens that I want to edit out. What I'll do is I'll click and I'll drag this down to my timeline, the first part. So now the good first few seconds is in. And then I'll come up here and I'll set my end point, meaning where it starts, to somewhere after the mistake happened. So I move the end point to just past where the mistake was. And the clip I put down here was 3.4 seconds long, and I said I want it to be exactly 6 seconds. So do the math. I need 2.6 more seconds. Right up here, take the end of it and trim it. This is called trimming. When you click and drag one of the ends to make it shorter or longer, that's called trimming. Click and drag till I have exactly 2.6 seconds. And mine will only let me get 2.7. That's okay. If you're off by 0.1 or 2, I'm not going to know the difference. But if you're off by 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, then I'll know the difference. So now you'll see a cut. You'll see what we call a jump cut. But I've got 2 clips that equal 1 6-second clip. For this project, I don't recommend you do that unless you have to for some reason. I recommend you have just a solid 6 seconds. But I'm just teaching you some other editing techniques that will come in handy when you make videos. All right, so we have our first 6-second clip, and this one appears to be, it's the classroom obviously, and it appears that this is in focus. We actually call this sharp, okay? So I want to label this clip what it is. So I'm going to show you how to label it with a title or a graphic, okay? And there's a key word for these type of graphics that you need to know. It's called a lower third. A lower third is a graphic that shows up in the lower third of your screen, meaning it's in this area right here. So it's real easy to make these graphics in iMovie. This is why students like iMovie. Over here on the left side, you'll see the content library. Down here on the bottom left, select titles. And it's going to give you a bunch of options for titles. For this particular assignment, I don't care which one you use. You can use whatever you want. There's certain occasions that it's more correct to have a lower third. This example right here, this is a lower third because the text is in the lower third of the screen. This right here would just be a title. That's not a lower third because the text is in the middle of the screen. There's occasions where I'll require that you have a lower third because that's more appropriate for certain things. But in this case, I don't really care. So you can choose whatever title you think is cool. If you find one that you think is kind of fun, choose that title. And all you do is you click and drag that to your clip. But my computer's freezing for a second. There we go. So I'm going to do this one just for the heck of it. I select it, I click, and I drag it onto the clip. Now, the titles in iMovie are represented in purple. So wherever I put this purple bar, that's where the title is going to start. If I put it at the start of the clip, it'll start there. If I put it at the end of the clip, that's where it'll be. Okay? You want this title to be half a second to a second into the clip, so roughly right around there. Reason you want it half a second or a second into the clip is because later on we're going to put in what's called a transition, and you'll learn what those are later. But you don't want the title to start before the transition has finished. Okay? So there's my title. Now, to edit that title so that it says what I want it to say instead of title text here, I double click it, and you'll notice it opens up a text editor. Whatever I select, I can then edit. I can make it bold. I can do different tweaks to it, okay? So I select my title, and you're labeling this clip what it is, okay? So this clip is classroom in focus, but I want you to use the term sharp just so you get used to that. Sharp focus. Sharp focus, okay? Sharp means crisp or clear. And if you want them on one line like that, you can, or you can push, well, some titles you can push return and have them down a line, but this title doesn't let you because it's animated. Anyways, so this is classroom sharp focus. Now, when I grade you, I will dock for typos. Because in TV broadcasting, if you put something on the air that has a typo, you could lose your job. I did an infomercial one time, and we had to get the tape out to the TV station that was going to play the infomercial. And we had a deadline, and right before we're about to hand it off to the FedEx guy, I caught a typo. So I had to go redo everything to fix the typo before I could FedEx the tape. So you've got to make sure you don't have any typos, okay? Classroom is one word, which I had 2 words. Sharp focus is 2 words. So if you ever don't know how to spell anything, that's what Google's for. Take the time to Google it and make sure you're spelling it correctly. Okay, so classroom, sharp focus. Now, one last thing before we move on to the next clip. Go ahead and play your clip and you'll see that the title comes on. Tells them what it is. That's all awesome. I want this title, just so you get used to editing titles. By default, it's 4 seconds long. I want it exactly 3 seconds long. You shorten it just like you shorten video clips by trimming. So come to the end of the title, hover over the edge. You'll notice that that trim tool now pops up. The trim tool is the left and right arrow that you see right here. And then you just click and drag. If I drag to the right, it's going to make it longer. If I drag to the left, it's going to make it shorter. And it was 4 seconds to begin with, so notice these numbers. It's -0.4 seconds, -5, so that's half a second shorter now. Also over on the left, you can see the total duration of the clip is 3.3 seconds right now. I wanted exactly 3 seconds. So there you go. I now have a 6-second clip of a sharp focus clip of the classroom with a title that comes on for 3 seconds. Spacebar is your play button again.
Why'd you record me?
Why did you record me? Someone's complaining about getting recorded. Okay? Any questions? You're going to do that with all of your clips. So you'll have 3 clips of each object if you filmed them all correctly. So the next one's going to be our out of focus clip. So I come back to my event, focus here, and now I can see all my clips again, okay? And just go to the next one. So this one, let's watch it. Yeah, that's soft. You could have even made it softer, but that's definitely out of focus because it's blurry. Okay, so same thing. I get my 6 seconds worth, I double click it, I trim the front and the back, or just one end if you'd rather, but I make it 6 seconds long. Hopefully the best 6 seconds I can find of that clip. Okay, once I have a 6-second clip, I hover in the middle, you'll see the hand tool appear. I click and drag that into my timeline. This area down here is called a timeline or a sequence, okay? Alright, so now I have my blurry clip, which is known as, do any of you remember what the blurry clips are called? Soft, or out of focus, okay? We call it soft. So now I make my soft clip, and I just need to add a title to it that says Classroom Soft Focus, just like I did before. So to add my title, by way of review, I come over here to the left under Content Library and I click on Titles. choose whatever title I want. Typically when you make a video, you choose some kind of a theme and you follow that theme all the way through. In other words, every time you use a title, you typically would use, it's more professional to use the same title, the same style, so that the video looks, what's the word? Continuity. So you have continuity is the word. In this case, it's just we're just learning how to do basic edits. I don't really care if you use the same title or not. If you want to play around and see what all the different titles look like, then that's fine. You can use a different title every time. But you do have to have a title. So I click and drag my title, whichever one I choose to use, onto the clip. To edit the title so that it says what I want it to say, I need to double click it and select it and start editing. This title that I happen to choose has two different lines, so you have to edit them slightly separately. Okay, so the first title is Classroom, because that's what the shot is of. Classroom. Then the second title, this is a soft focus, also known as out of focus, but please use the word soft so that you can get used to using video terminology. Okay, soft focus. Make sure there's no typos. As long as there's not, all you need to do is make that title 3 seconds long instead of 4, and you're done with that next clip. Okay, so Classroom, soft focus. Again, my title by default is 4 seconds long, so I'm going to trim the end of it until it's exactly 3 seconds long. To watch your clip, go ahead and push spacebar, move the playhead to the start of the clip, push spacebar, and you can watch your little title come on, Classroom, soft focus, and it moves on. Any questions up to that point? You guys getting the idea? Okay, so you're going to go through and do that. You're welcome to go faster than I'm going. I'll keep going just for the sake of recording it for later. But you can, if you get the idea, you can go ahead of me. Okay? So now we're on to our third clip. I'm going to pause for a second and see if anybody needs my help with something else.